and how important is the role of mentor in your success?
Yeah, sir, I did not emphasize too much of coaching in any of my talks, but I always had a mentor. But during mains and interview, you were my mentor, and Sukanya ma'am, and she was also my mentor. So your mentorship team as a whole has helped me so much. So before prelims, because I did not have too much of time, I could not interact with any of the mentors. But for the mains and interview, I had a lot of mentors for interviews. For example, for my medicine stream of questions, I had a very good mentor, and for general studies, and I have two or three mentors, like including you also, especially for answer writing. So sir, I think mentorship role is a very important thing in UPSC. I think this should be, sir, any common mentor, maybe who is concentrating on us personally should be there, definitely. So that is what I personally feel.
Hello students, thank you for joining this webinar or this masterclass on a 14-month blueprint for a top 50 rank in UPSC 2025. So thank you for joining at this time. And in today's class, we have one of my student, Pavandatta, who actually cracked his IAS exam in the very first attempt. He got rank 22. So in this program or in this session, we will be discussing a 14-month blueprint for those aspirants who are preparing for next year. Because it's always to start early. You have ample time at this moment. And if you plan your game in a very strategic manner, I can guarantee you that definitely your chance of getting a rank will definitely improve in the very first attempt. Because as I always say, that your first attempt is your best attempt, because you're fresh, you don't have the baggage of failures, and you have full what we can say commitment, right? So basically, before wasting or not wasting any more time, I would like to introduce you Pavandatta, AIR 22. So Pavandatta, thanks for joining. Thanks for guiding aspirants for next year. It's great to see you again. And how is life in Labasta right now?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the introduction, firstly. And yes, sir, life at Labasana, again, we resumed after Bharat Darshan, after a tiring and exciting Bharat Darshan of 40 days. So again, we resumed today, the second leg phase of the phase one course. So going good, sir, now. So life is very good, and it's very, very cold out here. Very cold.
So it must have been, all the hard work that you put in your very first attempt. It actually, played really well. So that because it takes a lot of time for aspirants, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 7 years. I have people who have cleared it in 8th and the 9th attempt, but you actually cracked it in the very first attempt. So for people, Pavan Datta was a doctor. He could have made his career in the field of medicine, but during the COVID time, he saw how much administration is required as an administrator, how much impact he can make in the field of health and other areas. That's why he decided to be an IAS. So what made you? I mean, how easy it was for you to crack the exam in the very first attempt?
Yeah, sir, one is first of all definitely the God's grace. I always attribute my success to God. But second is obviously the hard work that I put in. So one is, as you rightly mentioned, some people take 8 attempts, 9 attempts to get into the exam. But I think, sir, what worked for me is I understood the exam well. So many of the aspirants who are cracking in first or second or third attempts, what they generally do is they understand the exam in a very better way, in a very forward manner. So that is the main thing. So I think that is the thing that we are going to tell to our aspirants also. I think that is the main crux of this talk also. How should be the 14-month blueprint? So as you rightly emphasized earlier, we have to start early so that we'll be getting success very early too.
And how important is the role of mentor in your success?
Yeah, sir, I did not emphasize too much of coaching in any of my talks, but I always had a mentor. But during mains and interview, you were my mentor, and Sukanya ma'am, and she was also my mentor. So your mentorship team as a whole has helped me so much. So before prelims, because I did not have too much of time, I could not interact with any of the mentors. But for the mains and interview, I had a lot of mentors for interviews. For example, for my medicine stream of questions, I had a very good mentor, and for general studies, and I have two or three mentors, like including you also, especially for answer writing. So, sir, I think mentorship role is a very important thing in UPSC. I think this should be, sir, any common mentor, maybe, who is concentrating on us personally should be there, definitely. So that is what I personally feel.
Okay. So as Pawan has emphasized that a role of mentor is important because this exam, the syllabus is undefined. And ultimately, along with hard work, you also need to focus on right areas. And secondly, answer writing is something which is very important because it's not just about knowledge, it's the application of that knowledge in 8 minutes that will get you the rank, right? So not wasting more time, I would also like to introduce myself that my name is Sajal Singh and I have done my master's from Gokhale Institute, Pune and Canada. And I had got 11 marks more than the rank 1 in the GS papers in 2017. And I have been mentoring a lot of rankers for last many years. This year also, a lot of the rankers, rank 16, rank 22, rank 28, rank 48, 49. So they were part of or I have personally mentored them. And I have been a regular writer in Hindu, Indian Express, and India Today. So you can read my articles also there. So basically, and Pawan, as the star of the show today, he had cracked in his very first attempt. He's an MBBS from SV Tirupati College, and he had optional of anthropology. So basically, these are some of my students or my rankers who have good things to say about me. Now, not wasting more time, I would also like to introduce you to our mentorship program of 2025, where we have 4 layers of mentorship. You must have heard about 1 layer, 2 layer. We have 4 layers of mentorship. So at your first level, you have your personal mentor. At your second level, you have the program manager. At the third level, I will be taking you with group sessions. At the fourth level, we will have our super mentor. And to your announcement, Pawan will be one of our super mentors in this program. And he will be taking whatever has worked with him. He will be sharing the same strategy with you in the group sessions. And also, if you finish your targets and if you have been regular with your targets, definitely you will have the opportunity to have one-to-one interaction with Pawan, who is a super mentor. Because basically, as Pawan has said, that because whatever worked for me, I should share my learnings with a wider range of aspirants so that they can also benefit and they can also crack the exam and they can get a top 50 rank in the very first attempt, right? So ultimately for this is starting from 13th of March, but the registrations are open for today, and the first 50 students who will enroll in this program, they will get an early bird discount, 10%, 15%. Now our team will share you the form. They will share you the form. This is a discount form. You don't have to pay anything. By filling the form, you will be eligible for this, the whole program and the discount coupon. So ultimately, the form will be shared, and I would like you to actually fill the form. So basically, this session we will divide into 2 parts. One, in the first part, I will be talking about the 10 areas how UPSC has been changing over the years, because a lot of you aspirants, you have just started preparation. So ultimately, because you have just started preparation, it's very important that you should actually not commit these mistakes, and you should understand how UPSC has been changing, because many of you must have been mentored or you must have had a discussion with an IAS officer of 90 batch, 95 batch, 2000 batch. But I tell you very frankly that the nature of UPSC has changed significantly over the years, and every 2-3 years it is changing. So it's very important for you to actually adapt to the right trends, the right strategies for the changing patterns. So first and the very important thing, so I will start with this, and then Pawan will share the very awaited 5-phase timetable for next year, which actually mostly he has also used, right? So ultimately, I'll first start with this, and then Pawan will talk about his 5-phased strategy for UPSC 2025. So the first and the very important way UPSC is changing, answer writing. If you talk about 10 years back or 8 years back or probably 12 years back, there was a different way of answer writing. And I can tell you with a fact that there was one of my students who actually got into IPS in 2018. Then again, after 2 years break, he gave the exam in 2022 and he actually could not clear mains. Why? What worked with him in 2018 could not work in 2022 because the nature of answer writing, right, that has changed completely. There was a time when you can actually get marks by having this kind of format, big paragraphs, and ultimately not addressing the key demand. But now, ultimately at this moment, for getting marks, you need to write smaller points, more dimensions, more use of keywords, diagrams, understanding the core and the non-core part. So if you write answers in a way that toppers used to write 7 8 years back, definitely you will not be cracking mains. Answer writing is a key, because without answer writing, you cannot think of getting a rank, because that is all it's about. I've seen so many of the aspirants who have great knowledge, who have, we call them as Baba in this UPSC market, these Babas who actually can talk on every issue. But the whole idea is that the problem with them is that they have not been able to replicate that same knowledge in those 8 minutes. So answer writing is a key, and adapting to the new trend. There are people, some people say diagrams are very important, but definitely it's important, but overuse of diagram will again backfire you. So there are certain things in answer writing that you need to take care of when you start preparing for UPSC. Second, very important, very, very important, for good answer writing, note making is the key. Without note making, you cannot even think of getting a good marks. Because see, you can't really think that you will think on the spot. 8 minutes, 9 minutes time is there. How can you think on the spot? It's not possible for you to do that for every question. Yes, definitely there will be certain questions where you have to think on the spot, but a larger part of your questions, you will have to actually have a template ready, and your notes are that template. Your notes should be in that form which can be directly replicated in your answers, right? This is an example of bad notes. There is absolutely no philosophy here. Big paragraphs dumped, of no use. This is a good way of note making, that use of diagrams, the use of small words, and ultimately you can replicate the same in your mains answers. Similarly, see, this is a very good way of note making, where in for prelims, from dimensions from which UPSC can ask you a question, all dimensions are added here, right? So before your prelims exam, you can just go through these notes, and that will help you in last minute revision, right? Similarly, if you see this notes, this is actually for mains. So in mains we talk about pestle approach. Then some questions you can use pestle approach, political, economic, social. See, these notes are framed in a way that it can be replicated in your main exam also, right? So note making, a good part of your time should be devoted for note making. If good notes are made, then half the job is already done. Third, very important, very, very important area, that how to convert your knowledge into marks. You are done with Lakshmikant, you're done with history, you're done with economics, but you are unable to score marks. You are not here to get PhD. You are here to clear the exam and go. That's what you are here for. And this is also a problem that 95% of the aspirants, even after revising, even after studying the books, they are not able to solve a question, they're not able to write answers. That is another area which we have to focus upon. Fourth, and very important, how UPSC is changing, that use of those tricks and hacks and smart hacks and tigrams. There was a time when they were very, very important, and when I was preparing, I technically used these hacks every time to get at least 25 marks above the cutoff. Definitely I used it. But as I've said, UPSC changes itself. So now, if you see this year's paper, the way the questions were framed, the use of these smart hacks is declining. Now conceptual clarity is the key. Without conceptual clarity, you cannot clear this exam. Just by hacks, you can get those 2-5 extra marks, but that will not help you in cracking the exam. For example, this question was asked few years back, that what are unique about Kharai camel breed in India? It is capable of swimming up to 3 kilometers in seawater. It survives by grazing on mangroves. It lives in the wild and cannot be domesticated. Now, basically, if you see the third option, it looks very extreme, cannot be domesticated. The word itself is very extreme. Once you remove that third option, directly we arrive at the right answer, which is 1 and 2 only. This was possible, very much possible earlier. But if you see this year's prelims paper, see, consider the following statement. Jhelum River passes through Wular Lake. Krishna River directly feeds Koleru Lake. Meandering of Gandak River formed Kanwar Lake. Now, basically, now the options that they give, how many of the statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none. Now, here you cannot use elimination anymore. Or see this question, India has more arable area than China. The proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. The average productivity per hectare in India in agriculture is higher than that of China. Now, this technically statement 3, it looks silly. Earlier, we could have eliminated it. But now if we see the options, how many of the statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three. Now, elimination technique you can't use in most of the questions. So now, conceptual clarity. How well your concepts are clear, how well your basics are clear, that will decide that whether you will be able to solve the question in prelims or not. Similarly, the nature of current affairs is changing. There was a time when UPSC used to ask direct current affairs, direct. Like for example, this paper in 2017 or 18, they asked the term M strips is sometimes seen in the news in the context of what? Direct, it was there in the current affairs and basically the question was asked. But now UPSC is becoming more smarter. Now, instead of direct current affairs, they're linking current affairs with static part. Right? For example, this question was asked in the UPSC 2022. Consider the following countries: Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Which of the above have borders with Afghanistan? 1, 2, and 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 3, 4, and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, this question was asked by UPSC. It looks like a static question, map question. But technically, the question was asked because in 2021, there was a coup in Afghanistan. Taliban came to power. And during that time, there was very much in news. And what are the neighboring countries of Afghanistan doing? Right? So that is the main problem. Similarly, this question was asked on deputy speaker. It looks like a static question, but the whole idea is that it is not really static because it was very much in news that from last 4 years, deputy speaker has not been appointed in the Lok Sabha. So that was in news because of this reason. So now UPSC is becoming more smarter. Instead of asking direct current affairs question, they are now basically linking those static topics. They're asking on those static topics which are already in news. Similarly, finding UPSC content, this is very important, very, very important. Finding UPSC content is no more a challenge. Now you have Bard, you have Chat GPT, and definitely you can get content with just one good prompt. But again, everybody has access to same content, but only 600, 700, 800 people will get ranks. So it's not, content is no more a challenge. It's about application of content into marks. That is more important. And that is where mentorship also comes in. That good mentor tells you how to apply that knowledge to get that extra marks in prelims and mains. Similarly, more than how much to study, the real challenge is what to study, because there's so much content available, in the market, online websites, what to study, from where to study, how to, assess your performance, how to stay consistent and accountable, because this exam has a very long gestation period. If you start preparation now, the next year mains will be somewhere around 1.5 years from now. So, how to stay consistent, how to be accountable, how to make a timetable. All these things are very, very important, and that will decide whether you are getting a rank or not. And again, mentor, helps you in all these things. Similarly, optional papers are becoming very important. With good optionals, I can tell you, I got more than 11 marks more than rank 1 in 2017 exam, but still my name was not in the PDF list because I just got 194 in economics. Right? So optional is something which is very important. if you are, if you know, it's not about कि आपके friend ले रहा है optional तो आप लो. You know, it's very important that you choose your optional widely. You choose the optional that has linkages with GS. Choose the optional that actually interests you, because without interest, you'll not be able to write optional level answers because they are a bit technical if you see, right? Similarly, PYQ is becoming a key these days. You know, it's very important to see the PYQ of prelims and mains, because understanding those themes becomes very, very important. It's very important that seeing that PYQ, you actually make a list of probable questions for next year. For example, this question was asked Deputy Speaker 2014 and 2022 again. Similarly, this question was asked in UPSC Prelims 2021, which is in nature, which of the following is or are most likely to be found surviving on a surface without soil? Fern, lichen, mossel, mushroom. Now, basically, if we see this answer, it has four options. One option is mushroom, right? Next year, what they did was in 2020, they actually asked the question on Gucci, which is a kind of a mushroom. So see, from these options, they have asked the next year question, right? Similarly, in 2023, they have again asked a question on mushroom, right? So basically, it's not, the real answer is not important. Even the options are important. And you need to see that what are the current affairs development, you know, in the case of mushrooms, in the case of lichen, in the case of fern, in the case of moss. कोई अगर न्यूज में था, तो definitely it becomes an important topic for your next year. Similarly, in mains, you know, you have topics like urban local governance, panchayati raj, cyber security. Every year they will ask a question on it. For example, land reform. They ask a question on land reform every 3-4 years. So they have not asked a question on land reform for last 2-3 years. So definitely you can expect a question on land reform next year. So that's how PYQ is very important for your smart strategy. That's what I'm saying. Hard work, almost 70% aspirants do hard work. It is a combination of hard work and smart work that has helped Pawan, and that has helped every other ranker to get a very good rank. Okay. So ultimately, and one very important thing, every aspirant has a different and a unique strategy. Not everyone is same, and not everybody should follow the same strategy, right? And so I had a student called Sanskriti, so my rank 49. Now before main, she actually called me and said, "Ki sir, diagrams nahi ban rahe hain answers mein. Kya, like, what should I do?" I said, see, if diagrams are taking a lot of time for you, skip the diagrams. Let's focus on the other aspects. Because even without diagrams, you can get good marks in GS. And that is what she did. She did not make any diagrams. And despite that, she got rank 49. So the whole idea is that there is no one unique strategy. There are some rankers who attempt 95 questions in prelims. There are certain rankers who actually attempt 75 questions and still clear the prelims. So everyone is, can follow a different strategy, at least a unique strategy which suits them, and still get a rank, right? So mentorship program itself is like this only, that we actually tailor it like this. And that's why we call it as every student is a batch, because for every student, a customized kind of, a personalized kind of strategy is actually defined and made by our mentors and our super mentors. Now, let's talk about Pavandatta's 5-phase study plan, what he used. So I am introducing Pavandatta, and now he will share his 5-phase strategy with you. So you can share your screen, Pavan.
Thank you, sir. It was very good, actually, the session, how you started and how it went. And I can see entire experience of you in this. 1 minute, sir. I'll just. So guys, I'm just sharing. So this is a broad timetable that we used to follow. So I have just customized to majority of the aspirants. So it was kind of a customized for me, because my subjects were initially different. But because I was getting many questions from different aspirants, so I, in a broad manner, I have emphasized on certain things, certain subjects that needs to be followed. So let us see how it goes about it. I'm just sharing it. Yeah. So guys, see, this is a generally we think from phase 1 to phase 5 how we have to follow. There can be a customized and individual timetable for you. That is where the mentorship program comes into the picture. So when I was having confusion, I called Sajal sir. I've been in constant touch with Sajal sir and ma'am also, and so we used to change a bit timetable here and there. So this subject should be dealt here, and this subject should be the exam should be kept here. So small minor changes that we have done. So it is a general timetable for the majority of the aspirants that you can definitely work on, customize for yourself. Okay. See, generally the phase 5, how it goes is all about so from 3 or 4 months, like February, March, April, May, or February, March, April, and then May, June, July, August, September, and then so this is that you can see. So one is obviously here I have indicated a macro targeting of the what are the things that needs to be done. So here let us see. The first is the first 3 months I consider key one is, as sir also rightly emphasized, optional is very 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 important. Okay, even before starting of GS, even before starting of CSAT or something else, you can obviously or also we can start with the optional if your optionals are maybe anthropology, maybe sociology, maybe medical science, or maybe other, maybe economics or something like that. Okay, for PSIR, maybe these things you can at least wait for other 2 months, so that you complete polity once, you complete GS paper 2 of international relations once, you can obviously start the optional. But certain optionals require, especially for the technical optionals, for example veterinary sciences, or maybe the botany, zoology, or whatever it is, they have nothing to do with the proper GS kind of syllabus, right? So this is the proper the GS wala thing that we have mentioned here. But I tell you ki parallelly, you should obviously have one, the optional stream. The second is the GS stream. Which GS to be started, which subject should be kept first, it is up to you, right? So let us see, let us briefly see that, so that we can also guide, we can also customize. See, one is after seeing 2023 ka question paper, I have got key NCRTs are very, 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 very important now, because as sir told, the elimination strategies have been decreasing, and I think after 2 or 3 years, they don't have much relevance in UPSC. So, sir, how should we go about it? Yes, as sir told, basics are very, very important. How do you go about the basics, sir? How do I master the basics, sir? One is NCRTs. That is also selected NCRTs. You need not read NCRTs of economy, because microeconomy, for example, let us take for example maybe 8th or 9th or 10th class NCRTs are not much needed for economic, right? For all the other things you might require. So that also we'll share with you the exact list that I have followed, and broad list that toppers generally follow. I also followed the same thing here and there, minor changes with history, and some minor changes in economy and environment wala part. So what I targeted was, but I've been discussing with the aspirants in the reverse manner. But what I used to do was, I used to read in a high level and then come to the NCRTs, because that is my way of doing the things. So for polity, if I started, I did with Lakshmikant first and then came to 6th to 12th NCRTs, just had a reading. The same with the economy, same with the environment, same with any other thing, especially for the history. I read old NCRT first and then just had a glance of new NCRT and 6th class NCRT of ancient India, so that that feeling of no missing out, the FOMO will not be there. Okay. After this, the basic answer writing. Yes, I always tell aspirants ki best part of answer writing can be after May, June, July, but some people are very bad at it, very very bad in answer writing. So that what just write one question or two questions daily, start writing answers maybe after seeing toppers copies, etc. So just get into the groove of answer writing. Okay, that is what the basic answer writing is. No, you need not write answers, but you should know how to write answers. So that is nothing but the basic answer writing. Okay, here obviously avoid note making. Why I have mentioned is, for the first time, if you read, if you make notes, your brain will not remember that. So I advise people ki, note making should be started in the second reading. Okay, while doing the second reading, you should start note making. And then maybe after the 5 months, maybe for the initial first or 5 or 6 months, you can obviously go with the optional parallelly, and then go for the GS part, one subject at a time or two subject at a time, based upon your working hours, how much you want to read and how many hours you want to read. And then after that, broadly until the September, the PYQ analysis of GS papers. So need not be prelims, the PYQs of the mains, because you have done the basic reading and now you are getting into the groove of mains first. June, July, August, September is the time of mains. Until May, you can concentrate on finishing the syllabus. Finishing the syllabus, matlab you can just one reading of the syllabus, which is helpful for the both for the mains and for the prelims, and also to read newspaper. from the current affairs and newspaper can be started. Like, we have mentioned it because some people wants to cover from February, wants to cover from January for them. But I suggest ki you can start from May, you can start from June for the next year, so that until June, if you are completing one round of syllabus, you will be getting a clear cut idea ki what you have to eliminate in the paper, what you should not read, what you should read, what you should concentrate, what should make notes from also. That is why we are emphasizing to complete one round of syllabus until May, along with optional. Maybe optional can be left here and there. Maybe some part of paper 2, some part of paper 1 can be left. You can cover it later by September, October, right? And then PYQ analysis. How do you do analysis? So I'll just get into the groove later. Now, the coming to the detailed study of GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4. This ethics can be at the last, because the content for ethics, content for the essay part especially comes from GS paper 1, 2, 3. So while we are going into the sessions per se, we can obviously discuss more about how to make notes, how do you detailly study about GS paper 1, 2, 3. It is also kind of a reading for the first time in depth. Okay, GS paper 1, you see the PYQs. There might be a mentioning of what is the some Chola architecture. Let us say you must have studied for the first time, okay, the Chola architecture. You now know ki where the Chola architecture that you have to read from Nitin Singhania, the source, or from the old NCRT, or from the medieval India in the initial part of the Cholas that you want to read, or whatever it is. So you'll be having an idea, and after seeing that question, you also know ki what should I concentrate about. Maybe should I concentrate on the diagrams and the overall architecture of Cholas, or should I also mention about the intricate designs of the Cholas, or maybe the measurements of the temples that I don't know, very huge temples and etc. generally mentioned. So this is how you have to make up your mind after seeing toppers copies or after doing previous year's analysis, right? Now, how do you advance in the answer writing? So after now basic answer writing that you have known, now you start writing answers, right? When you start writing answers, then you will know ki after 2 months or 3 months, you will know ki these are the mistakes I am doing. When you compare with the toppers copies, then you will get clear understanding. Okay, that is the part until September that your answer writing techniques will go up. You will be in constant touch with the mentor, the suggestor, or maybe the faculty here, or maybe when you are completing the targets, I'm pretty much sure I'll also talk to you on regular basis. Definitely we'll plan accordingly. And then the phase 3 consists of the especially the optional. Okay, here it has been mentioned optional. Why? Because majority of the coaching they generally start after August, September, October. That is why tentatively we have given. But if you are starting on your own regarding the optional, you can start in February, March, April, May. Or if you want to have coaching, just see when the coaching is getting started and then plan accordingly. That is why I told you this is a general thing. Okay, and then the peripheral subjects. Okay, peripheral subjects consist of this world history, society, and exclusively mains topics, right? Some part of the social justice that you can also prepare that for the prelims also. But peripheral subjects consist of broadly these things. Okay, for me, peripheral subjects also consist of ethics. Why? Because ethics can be done afterwards, but I have mentioned here because some people wants to complete it as early as possible. That is the thing. And then February, March, April, May consists of completely prelims mode. There you can start with PYQs analysis of prelims, and here in between phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, if you are feeling bored of mains, you can always keep some kind of prelims preparation in between, like writing tests. Okay, maybe attempting exams, solving previous year's questions from different books. That for the time pass purpose, for the just to get out of that monotony of mains, you can plan it. And then obviously after you clear prelims, June, July, August is always obviously the mains, right? This is the broad overview that I wanted to talk about. This is how I've discussed with Sajal sir when I enrolled with the test series under Sajal sir. So this has happened. So this is the timetable that I have prepared. Like phase 1, this should be there. Phase 2, this should be there. And these are the broad things that we'll be doing. And this is a micromanagement which I really don't want to get into. Why? Because it is very unique for different persons. This I have prepared. This I and Sajal sir also prepared. Like we combinedly prepared for one person. Uh, and also regarding the dates also you can see, and these targets that how we have planned accordingly, and this is the exact timetable we have referred to the other person also who has been the student under Sajal sir this year also the same way. I did not get into the depth of the regarding the timetable. Why? Because you can see these are the mentorship calls that I have taken, and you can obviously see how the improvement is there. And if you see my copies also, you will obviously find how this got improved, and it obviously reflected on my rank. If you see the marks also, the GS, I did not score too much high in any of the papers, and not too much low in any of the papers. I have prepared on everything because I had very less amount of time after prelims and mains because of some health issues of because of COVID-19. So this is how we have cracked. So I really thank Sajal sir and the mentorship team for that. I think this is for me.
Strategy and the timetable. And please, guys, we will actually mail you this timetable. We'll mail you the strategy. So don't worry if you have any net problem. There is absolutely no issues. We'll mail you the PPT and the whole timetable to you so that you can. But this is actually what we call as I've said, that there is no one way to crack the exam. It depends on your strength and weakness. So this is his timetable, but definitely based on your strength and your weaknesses, we'll customize the plan or we'll customize the timetable accordingly, right? So as who have joined late, I would like to again announce, and then we will open the Q&A. So whatever doubts you have, me and Pavandatta will be more than happy to resolve the doubts. So basically, as I've told you, that we will be starting with this mentorship program for 2025, which will have 4 layers of mentorship, and the admission is starting from today. For the first 50 students, there will be an early bird, what we call as discount, and the form has been shared there, and ultimately you can fill the form and you can avail that discount. Now in that mentorship, there are 4 layers of mentorship, as I've told you, and these are the other features: one-to-one personalized session, and then you have the customized study plan based on your own strategy. For example, if a student is good in economics but poor in geography, so that's how his timetable will be made, so that we give them more time and more assessment for geography instead of economics. Third, and very important, as I've told you, that this program follows the philosophy of every student is a batch, which means that every student the plan will be made, the assessment will be made based on your own strength and weakness, right? Similarly, there will be fortnightly sessions by myself and also by our super mentor. The head of that super mentor is Pavandatta. So he will be sharing with you all his insights, all his strategies, what has worked with him. Similarly, if you stay consistent for a duration of time, then you can also, or we will also give you an opportunity to have one-to-one interaction with Pavan. Similarly, there will be group mentoring sessions on various aspects like issues, revisions, note making, goal setting, accountability. It will be taken by me, the rankers, and also Ridayan. Similarly, there will be a current affairs program, 3 classes in a week. Jayan sir, our star current affairs faculty, will be teaching you that. Similarly, essay program will also be part of it. Mains answer writing, prelims camp, where we focus on the idea of that you should learn by testing. So there will be a test every second day, every third day. Then you will also have your report card, which will show your progress, how you're improving with time. That will also be there. And you will have other aspects like current affairs daily quiz, then weekly assessment, and all these are part of this program. So now I make the floor open again, and whatever doubts you have, whatever questions you have, you can actually ask me, and Pawan will resolve it. Okay, so if we can introduce Pawan. So Rahul Singh has asked how to interlink the syllabus of GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 from how to interlink the syllabus of GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 from the mains perspective, and also for prelims. Should we focus on theme-based PYQ? Please let me know about this, sir. So, Pawan.
Yes. So yeah, that's a very relevant question. But I also feel ki Rahul Singh, I think he has asked this question. So it depends upon which stage of preparation you are in. If you are in starting stage of preparation, just leave it. But if you have given 1 attempt or 2 attempts, and if you are still finding it difficult how to interlink the syllabus of GS1, 2, 3, 4, you can follow this technique. Like for example, let us take GS4. How do you interlink with GS paper 1? There is always something called as integrity, professional integrity or personal integrity. I'll tell you one example because there are many other questions which are coming. So what I will do is I will write a GS1 example in GS paper 4. Like, for example, some XYZ personality is in history of India, or maybe in the modern India, has lost some integrity. Okay, let us consider. So that can be written in even in the GS paper 4. Okay, for example, even in the GS paper 2, if you find some international relations, may some unethical things that are going on, that can be written in professional integrity. Okay, this is how you interlink the syllabus. Even in the economy also, you can write what are the other changes in the political structure that is bringing that is rising for the economic changes in the country. So such things are the interlinking, but it is not required at present. Okay, if you are going for 2025, just complete the syllabus once. And for even this interlinking of the syllabus is perfect if you do after prelims and mains, because you'll be having enough content to interrelate the things. That is the thing. Yeah. And regarding also for prelims, should we also focus on theme-based PYQs? Yes, theme-based PYQs are very good in the initial stages, maybe until February, March, and then in the April and May, you have to get into the year-wise PYQs. So you get into the groove of the exam. How do I solve the 100 questions at a stretch? If you have economy, polity, environment all getting mixed up, how does the state of mind be there in the exam? Such things you have to employ the last 1.5 or 2 months. That is the thing.
Okay, so Vamsi has actually said that how do we prepare for CSAT? What was your CSAT strategy? Because you actually also came from a non-mathematics background. So how did you tackle the CSAT part?
Yeah. See, CSAT, sir, I might not be the perfect person to answer your question. Why? Because I had a very good foundation background in my school. I was from Vishwabharati Gudivada. So we solved so many mathematics questions over the foundation level. So I did not per se prepare for the CSAT, but after seeing 2023 paper, if I had attempted 2023 paper, I think I would have failed. I don't know. But after seeing until 2021, I thought 2022 I can solve, so I did not prepare. I was marginally like around 20 marks from the cutoff, so that I'm pretty much okay with that. Because I did not, I had very less time after COVID. I'm just telling you, after the COVID-19, I had very less time, so I had to start the preparation. I had to go about it. So CSAT I did not do much, but I advise you people go for CSAT right from the start. I'm not the perfect guide, but we'll work it out. Okay, how after joining things, we'll definitely work it out.
Okay, Mridal Agrawal has said, what should be your thinking process regarding mains and prelims to tackle the question? So how did you actually tackle the question, while prelims or while writing an answer in the mains exam?
See, first of all, guys, one is getting the basics right. That is very, 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 very important. Very important. If you are getting basics right, you will solve the paper at any cost. Okay, I had a friend. I know he was writing the fourth attempt in 2022, but no, until 2000, the first three attempts he could not qualify, in spite paper being very easy, because he was not very thorough with the concepts. He was not very thorough with the basics. But even though the pattern got changed in 2023 with one pair, two pair, three pair, he cleared the exam with a decent cutoff, with decent marks on the cutoff. Why? Because in that 1 year he got the perfection in his basics. So how do you solve the paper is all the different ball game after January that we have to concentrate. Pale, you concentrate mainly on improving the concepts. Okay, be it for the mains, be it for the prelims.
Okay. Many aspirants are asking for revision plan, that how you have to do revision in this preparation.
Yeah. Sir, I missed the question because you have got stuck. So, you are like, are you right, sir? So,
Revision
I should
plan.
talk
They,
about.
they, are, they are asking about because the syllabus is so lengthy, how to do effective revision.
Okay, okay. See, for example, let us take GS paper 2. Okay, how do you revise perfectly? Is source limitation is the first thing. One, let us take international relations in GS paper 2. For example, I'm just telling you, my source was always mains 365 plus one of one some institute kind of material of some around 10 to 15 pages, which discussed about what is the evolution of foreign policy in India from Jawaharlal Nehru era to the Narendra Modi ji era, right? So this is the broad area that I have dealt about, and main C65 was my only source of international relations. So my revision is all about revising main C65, right? So how do I revise? First time I read, I underline or I highlight whatever the things. So we'll do now. After that, I'll be having some schedule. Maybe after 2 months or 3 months, again I'll be having international relations ka schedule hai. Because GS paper 2, if I start, I'll start with polity, I'll start with social justice, and again I'll start with the international relations. So when I come to international relations, definitely I'll open main 65 and complete it. That's all. There is nothing called as different strategy. For the first time, it may take some 3 days to complete main 65. Second time, if you revise, it will take some 2.5 days. And if you start again revising based upon your timetable, trust me guys, before mains, maybe between prelims and mains, it takes hardly half day to complete international relations. Okay, this is the strategy for any subject for that matter, right? Similar way.
Somebody has asked that should we wait, till the prelims, or should we start answer writing from the beginning itself?
So see, it's an individual perspective. I'll just say, if you are very confident about going for the answer writing, and if you had a very good basics of answer writing, you can wait until maybe the first revision of all the subjects, not after prelims. Definitely not after prelims. Even if you see any toppers, like very rarest of rare, you can find starting answer writing after prelims. So, for example, take me. I have started answer writing just before to the prelims, proper prelims preparation. Why? Starting of answer writing need not be you just sit write answers for long. Okay, that is my perspective, because I was from medicine, and I was like, my strength was answer writing, and I was able to relate to the toppers copies, and my copies were almost getting into the loop of toppers copies. I thought yes, I can make it. So my hindrance was prelims, obviously, because I had very less time after COVID. Then I concentrated on prelims, and I started the mains preparation after that. But I have seen some of my friends and some of my juniors and some of my seniors also, they are not getting to the mains. Why? Because their answers are, they are not very good. At the level of, not at the level of UPSC standard. That is what I feel. For them, especially, even if you are struggling after maybe second attempt or third attempt, definitely you should start answer writing prior. Just maybe this after first revision, you can start by May or you can start by April. But just get into the groove of answer writing. You need not daily sit and write 15 questions or 20 questions, but go read, see the toppers copies, see the question and relate to it. Okay, this is the question, what could have been written? Oh, okay, fine, done. This is the thing that you have to do. If you are writing
So,
answers, just start with one answer, two answers, as the mentors tell you, and you can do it.
So as Bhavneesh has said, how much importance will be given to answer writing in this program. So there will be a weekly test, there will be proper assessment, and there will be regular sessions by me, Pavan, and the other mentors on answer writing, aspects of answer writing. And somebody has said that I have not studied anything. How should I start answer writing? See, to my advice to you is that, you know what, in the beginning, you Google the topic, you collect the content, and also you take your time, take 40 minutes, no problem. The first approach should be that you need to write a topper level answer. You can see the Google, you can actually take your time, and after some time, with more reading, with more content accumulation, definitely you'll be requiring less Google, and your time management will also improve, right? And one more person who has actually said that essay, what should we do? Should we read editorials? How should we prepare for essay, Pawan?
See, editorials and essay are, it's a very, very important component, especially the essay part. But how do you get the content of essay? So one is, I always had content of GS paper 1, 2, 3, 2 and 3, so that I'll be 3 and 4. Obviously, for the philosophical essays, a bit of part of ethics is also required. But I also followed the content of GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 for the essay. So you need not do too much about the essay, but if you're having time, you read some non-fiction novels. When you feel bored, maybe you can read some of the very good essays of toppers before, just to get into the group. But after September, you can start with the writing of essays here and there every weekend. One essay, like you still have some 1.5 2 hours of time for in the weekends. Just have a touch of essay. And regarding after the essay, sir, what is the other thing that editorials, right?
Yes.
For the editorials, what is the thing that I follow? Okay, let me tell you. So this is how you understand the exam, right? For example, let us take some formulas that they were in use in my time. So, or maybe some regarding the farmers. So I will see that issue, the formulas. I'll have some content in main 65 or some other magazines or some other things, right? So I go for the three formulas. What are the things? So I'll just seek a four options, four pros, four cons, and what are the four challenges of the formulas, and then very different opinions that I have. Hardly fills around 15 marks, 15 marks question, around 2 pages or 3 pages. If I'm able to fill the content, I will not read the tutorial. Be matter how much is the brilliant the article is all about. I won't read initially. Might be I'll just have a look, so that maybe some data here and there. Okay, maybe some good catchy lines that can be used in introduction or conclusion. Those only I used to read in editorials. Some other political editorials would be there. For example, let us take international relations. There were huge range of editorials when Quad was formed, and there was huge range of editorials when I2, U2, or some these institutions were formed, or maybe Australia relations were there, and then we signed some pact with UAE. I read only one article which covered in a holistic manner, or even if you're not reading the editorial, you can type. For example, you can type I2, U2, or maybe Australia India relations. I'll just make notes of it. What has happened? Maybe after 2 years, after 2 days of the incident that got occurred, I can just do it. After I feel this is the maximum thing I can get. Okay, this is the thing which I can at least write in the exam in a decent manner. I will never read international relations of Australia India in coming editorials, because why should I read unnecessarily and waste my time? Because whatever may be the question can be in a positive sense, or can be a negative sense, or can be a neutral sense. So obviously you have to prepare pros, you have to prepare cons, and you have to prepare some challenges and way forward, right? So need not be extraordinary point, and it might be extraordinary for you, it might be a very ordinary point for the examiner, because he doesn't really care about what you are preparing for, where you are preparing from, how many current affairs that you have read, right? This is how you understand about the exam and go about it. So that was my strategy, and I know it got worked for me. So again, I'm unable to get.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah.
So somebody has also asked that, is note making important for this exam? And if it's important, how many pages note should we make for each subject?
Yeah, so for this, in coming days, I will also share my soft copy notes, because it is in other laptop, which got shut off and it is not opening now. So it is very difficult for me to show it. Or else I have already planned to show it how to make notes. So I'll tell you. Take a keyword, for example, let us take separation of powers doctrine. You type in the internet key separation of powers doctrine UPSC, you'll get multiple things. You read 3 or 4 institutes or maybe articles on that, some 5, 6 or magazine, whatever the time you spend a day, you complete separation of powers. And after, when you revise the thing, when you are trying to make the notes, then you can see what is happening. For example, okay, separation of powers, what is a probable question that can be asked, right? Separation of powers is that all the three organs of the government or something, they have to be fundamentally separate, and they have to function individually, right? Without any hindrance from each other. But Indian constitution has mixture of all those things. So how is this? Legislature on judiciary, judiciary on legislature, and some other things, judiciary on executive, executive on judiciary, executive on legislature. So these are the things you have to make. Separation of powers doctrine is done. How many pages you make? Maybe it comes around 2.5 pages, and half page or 1.5 page you just leave it. Why? Because you might make some corrections in future. You might add a diagram, you might add some flow chart, you might add some good example that needs to be written. So always have that 1.5 buffer page. Maximum that 4 pages should be your notes. But this is the primary notes. But after prelims, when you're revising, you should be writing in a very shortcut, and separation of powers doctrine came in 1/4 of page for me, with small shortcuts, small writing, etc. So that just before the exam, before GS paper 2, in the afternoon 2 hours, or just before, after the essay that you keep on revising for the GS paper 1 and paper 2, when you see that notes, okay, separation of doctrine, yes, this one, this one, this one, this one, okay, fine, this is done, and you just strike it off, that confidence that gives you to, you'll definitely crack your exam.
Okay. Somebody asked that he was a student of Civils Delhi or Vajiram. So basically, let me make it very clear. So I had worked as a co-founder of Civils Delhi, and I have left Civils Delhi. So he was part of the mentorship under me in Civils Delhi. So now technically, since I am in Vajiram, so definitely, he will be, teaching, or he will be guiding the students from the Vajiram mentorship program. So whatever the best practices that we had or that has worked with him, we will be sharing the same strategy here also in our step up program. And also, this is just a broad idea, but ultimately Pawan will go at a very micro level during the group sessions that he will be conducting. And definitely it will be, it will be very, very helpful for you guys, because ultimately cracking an exam in the very first attempt is not a joke. It actually requires a lot of smart strategies. So all these smart strategies will be shared with you by Pawan, by myself, by the other mentors in our regular sessions. So ultimately, as I've said again, that we will be starting with our mentorship program for 2025 Step Up, in which we have 4 layers of mentorship, and there are various other features. There is a form that has been provided to you. So just fill the form, and ultimately that is a discount form. So once you fill the form, you will be eligible for discount. You don't have to pay anything. And let's try to crack UPSC in the very first attempt next year. You guys are fresh, and we'll do our everything, every knowledge that we have, every experience that we have will be shared by you, will be shared by us. And your job will be only to hard work. Your job will be to only implement whatever we are saying. If you can implement 80% of the things that whatever we are saying, definitely your chances of getting a rank will improve a lot. So this is all that we have for today. And thank you, Pawan. Thank you so much for coming. And you have been sitting in Labasna and taking time for the students. Certainly, your advice has helped a lot of students, and definitely it will also help more students, in this program. So see you guys, and let's take the inspiration. You have to reach where Pawan is right now sitting. That should be your dream, right? Labasna should be your dream.
This
Labasna
is
should be your dream.
this hostel is
And
Happy Valley Hostel, sir, one of the best hostels in Labasna after monastery. So I think, yeah, you guys definitely see. I'll also be a mentor where there is a genuinity, okay? Because I was a student of Sajal sir, I was taking somewhere, okay. So I was mentored by Sajal sir, not by an institute per se. So okay, so hope you understand about it. So let's also rock it. I'll be a super mentor and I'll be taking sessions regularly, because after that, until maybe April, after April, I'll be into the state. I got Maharashtra cadre, so I'll be a bit free when compared to academy. Academy is very, very hectic, dude. If you guys come here, you'll understand it. Okay, we cannot do justice to everyone and every time. We cannot satisfy all the people. But as sir rightly mentioned, whoever have been completing the targets perfectly, following the timetable, and they are getting the dividends initially, definitely I myself will personally take care of them, and we'll go about it. But in general, I'll be conducting the sessions regularly on the regular basis whenever the institute or the sir asks me.
so thank you, Pawan, for coming, and thank you guys for
Yes.
attending this session.
Thank you,
See you
thank
in
you
the
guys, thank
program,
you.
and
Yes.
have a really good day. Thank you. Thank you.